Hi everybody. It's been a while since I went live, and I'm putting up the odd picture here and there. But I've been working very hard on building my business at the moment and educating myself more. And I'm actually very grateful to have had the opportunity to do this. Um, but the reason for this video isn't anything to do with that. The reason for this video is something I've never really spoken about before. So I'd like to share something with you guys. It's kind of a secret, so bear with me. So, anytime I meet people, I ask them how things are, how they are in life, stuff like that. And most people will have a chat with each other and say everything's grand or it was a bad day, things like that. Um, and then I think the main thing after that is learning how to cope with the things that we're going through. And most people keep their insecurities to themselves, um, and sometimes they can have a false sense of security. And this is where I'd like to share my little secret, my little story. I got pregnant when I was very young, so I never really got to watch my body grow and develop properly into a young woman because I got pregnant as a teenager, and that had a very big impact on my life and my body in more ways than one, physical and mentally, of course. But I was never a very confident person, even as a teenager. Like I like to cover up, wear hoodies, tracksuits. I never really liked to be stood out or, flashy in any way. Like I like to just blend in and, wear comfortable clothes, and that's what made me comfortable with myself and my body. And then obviously I got pregnant and my body changed as it does. Anyone that's ever gone through a pregnancy or has had a partner and have watched them go through that transformation um, will know and understand the impact that has on a person, um, man or woman, depending on what side you're going through it. So before my body had a chance to kind of grow and develop into a woman's body, it had already bear the gift of child birth and also homing that little baby for so many months. And I have to say my pregnancy was quite difficult. I never really talked about that part of my life because it's kind of emotional. But maybe one day I would like to get into it. But after having a baby and during my pregnancy, I didn't really care about myself anymore. Um, I was mainly and solely focused on like nourishing my baby and doing what I had to do um, to successfully carry that baby because I loved that baby and I wanted to bring that baby into the world and I wanted to give it a good life because that was the choice and the decision that I made. Um, so for those who don't know, like my daughter was planned. Maybe one day I'll get into that story, but it's not just my story to share, and I don't really want to be talking about anybody else because other people are involved in certain parts of my life and they might not be comfortable with me sharing certain things. But so my daughter was planned, so I also had to go through the mental preparation for, okay, well, I decided this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to carry a child, I wanted to become a parent, and this is what's going to happen to my body. And during my pregnancy, I bought What to Expect When You're Expecting, and then I bought What to Expect the Toddler Years, and I just read through What to Expect When You're Expecting week by week and doing my research online, things that I had to do in order to be a nice vessel for my child to develop and grow. Now, unfortunately, my pregnancy was quite difficult. I had complications and other problems, and I'm very lucky to say that I have my daughter today. And the hospital done an amazing job, and that was a kind of traumatizing point for me as well because my daughter came out like very underweight, which meant that my body done something wrong, and I felt like I kind of failed as a parent because I was a certain amount of weeks, and I don't know, I just felt like a mother's guilt or something, like I done something wrong, and like that was hard. And then coping with the childbirth itself at such a young age, never really spoke about that experience with many people because it was a private moment between my daughter and her father, and it was scary, like, but he supported me through it, and he was very good, and he was nervous and anxious at times as well, but like we got through it, and we got through it together, and our daughter was born. But after we brought this lovely little gift into the world, I kind of got like depressed about my body and then like my choices, because I was at an age where like I had so many plans before I decided to become a parent and have my child. And I never really had like the vision of children in my future. Like I knew what I wanted to do when I was quite young, and that was like my goal. And then I met somebody, and as the story goes, you fall in love and you make plans, and life makes plans for you, and that's kind of what happened. And after carrying a child for so long and going through the childbirth, it changed my body. Like, it changed my body so much, and I went from this like developing adult, well, like teen into adulthood. Um, I put my body through the most rigorous thing, and a lot of people don't really talk about the fact that having children when you're developing can be very, very, very it can be dangerous sometimes, and it can also be very exhausting, because the body is still really only developing itself properly, and then you're also like developing a whole other human being inside you. And I'd like to see that talked about kind of a bit more, because I know people say, "Oh, well, you're younger, and you're fitter, and it should be good to have kids young." But like, I mean, you have to wait till you're a certain age, and like, my advice to anyone out there, like, if you're a young woman, no matter how much you feel like that you want to be a parent, always make sure that you're mentally and emotionally prepared. And even when you feel like you are, there's going to be times where like you're not going to feel like you are, and there's going to be times where you feel like a failure and you feel like you failed yourself, and it's difficult. Like, people talk about all the positive sides of parenthood, which is great, but there is also negative sides, especially if you become a parent and there was a plan in place, and then the whole plan changed and you had to do it by yourself. So not only did I have to go through the experience of like carrying a child quite young and my body going through that transformation, and I know I'm not the only one out there that's gone through this, so maybe talking about it might get other people to talk about it more. Um, but it's a hard thing for a woman, no matter what age they are, to cope with. And I really do salute all the good men out there who stick by their partners and their pregnant women and wives and girlfriends and fiancés, and even sisters or mothers, depending on what woman needs to support, because they're the real kings in the world. Like, they're the real kings. And I think that as a woman, this is where my secret comes in. It was very, very, very difficult for me to accept my body after I had a kid. Because I knew it as one way and it was still only developing, so I didn't really get to know what my body was going to develop into before I put it through a pregnancy transformation. So I was only kind of like really getting to know my body, and then I got pregnant, and then my body changed again. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like, I didn't even feel like me. And someday I will hope to share pictures of Rebecca before pregnancy and Rebecca during pregnancy and Rebecca after pregnancy, because you will see that like my body really went through it, and so did Belle's little body. And sorry. So anyway, at the time, I just wanted to like care for my daughter, which I did. But I decided like I can't do this anymore, and I am not happy with myself. And I just kind of like pushed people away until I could figure out like how to make myself the happiest version of me. And it all started with my body image. And when you were one way for so long and you were getting to know your body and you were understanding how it developed and you liked what it was becoming, and then it completely changes due to pregnancies. Um, it it can do something to the human brain. Like, it really can do something to the human brain, because it's done something to mine. And over the years, like, I've kept fit, like danced, and I've done like my exercises and things like that. And then I got myself to a point a couple of years later where I was really happy with my body. I was really happy with my life. I was really happy with how I was functioning. And I became homeless for the first time. And after that, then I had a bit of an ED, and like, I got very thin, and people started getting quite worried about me, because I just got to the point I felt clean and better not having food in my system. Um, years later we found out I had certain problems, so like, that probably was another reason. But I just becoming thin became became like it became like an ideal in my mind, and I was like, I want to be thin, I want to be this way, I want to be that way, and I worked very hard to get myself to where I wanted to go. And then anyway, life happened and suffered through that, and then I managed to start like, getting better again and eating more, and then the same thing happened, and I found another pattern, and that was when I figured out, okay, I've body dysmorphia, because sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, what is my brain showing me? You know what I mean? And I'm not happy, and like, over the years, like, it's taken a long time um for people to get comfortable with their body, right? But I have a problem. I don't like mirrors, right? I'm not really into mirrors. I've got like 2 mirrors in my house. Um, I don't really look in them much. I had a long mirror which I carried everywhere with me, which I loved dearly, and someone broke it on me, and they never even offered to replace it, which sucked. But other than that, now I've only got 2 mirrors, so like, I can't really see from my chest down anywhere in my house, because I don't have the mirrors to do so. So I live in a very strange environment at the moment, because I'm focusing on building a business, and where I am right now is just like a stepping stone, and I can't let like where I am right now affect my mentality too much, because if I did, then I wouldn't want to get up every day and continue to fight for the life that I envision for me and my daughter. So my secret is that I am very body conscious. And I know people might look at me online and think, oh God, she's quite confident, or oh, she loves herself, or she's very vain, taking pictures of herself all the time. Okay, so when you have somebody who has an issue with their body or their appearance after going through a traumatic transformation at such a young age, they tend to take pictures of themselves, because they have this unhealthy way of coping, or sometimes it can be a coping mechanism, to remind themselves that like, they're not getting fat. And it's like, you need to kind of show that to the world, because you're only trying to prove a point to yourself anyway. You know what I mean? Like, people who go to the gym and all that, they're doing it for themselves and to have a healthy lifestyle. But it's also to show their bodies, like, you know what I mean? Why not? No shame. You've bodybuilding and things like that. But I've never really shown off my body. It's mostly my face and shots from here up and things like that, because I'm not looking to put a bad image of myself out there, because I have a daughter, and I don't want her like 10, 11 years from now, she's online and there's like all these pictures of me or my ass hanging out or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to embody a confidence that comes from being who you are and having to accept who you are, because I found that was the hardest battle with me, was accepting my body shape, how I am, what I went through, and the brutality my body went through alone as well, not just to do with pregnancy, but other things that I've gone through. Like, sometimes I really, really hated my body, and I felt like it wasn't, it was failing me in some sort of way. And I just put that down to me getting pregnant so young. And when I got pregnant, I got a split in my stomach. So, like, I was that heavy and swollen that the muscles in the middle tore. And, excuse a sec. I never thought I'd ever share this part of my journey with people, like, until maybe, I done well in life or became successful and I wrote a book and people maybe wanted to know. But just give me a minute. Give me a moment. And running a bath in a few minutes and getting in some Epsom salt and a nice milk and honey bubble bath, and I'm just gonna chill. And I just guess I want to say, like, no matter who you are, wherever you are, like, we all have body confidence issues. It doesn't matter, like, who you are, where you are, what you look like, because you could have, like, a six-pack and someone out there wants that six-pack, but they have bigger arms and you want bigger arms. So it's just a constant cycle of, so you have to learn to become happy in your own skin. And that can take a lifetime to do, especially if you have psychological issues with food, or you've had a history of not eating properly and other things. But there's help out there. Like, if you or anyone you know is suffering with any sort of eating disorder or health issue, tell somebody, because it can be a silent killer, and more men are affected than women, believe it or not. So keep an eye on your brothers out there, and the men in your life, and if you're a man, your friends, because that's not talked about enough either. Like, the ridiculous standards that men have to be put under, and society can be quite cruel sometimes, and I think we have to learn to be bulletproof and not let what goes on in other people's minds not affect you and become bulletproof to that, because everyone everywhere has an opinion. So yeah, the reason for this video today was to let you know that, like, I'm not Miss Perfect. I have my flaws and there's reasons for them, and if you have any, or you're after resonating or relating to anything of what I've spoken about, please leave a comment or start a conversation below, because I mean, as time goes on, I will talk more about these things. I just kind of, like, had to get myself in the head before I could start sharing more of who I was with the world, and why I am the way I am, and why I want to build a business I want to build, and why I want to do it the way I want to do it. And a long time ago, I had a vision, and then I became a mom, and I put my priorities first and my responsibilities, but my vision always remained in my mind. And every opportunity I've had, I've taken, and I have progressed slowly but surely to where I actually want to go. And my pure fuel is wanting a better life for my daughter. My pure fuel is the life that I lived and I have experienced. And like, I think the biggest motivation is not having that. So, like, if you have a goal and you really want to achieve it, unfortunately, there's discipline and you have to suffer. And if you don't want to be disciplined and you don't want to go through the suffering, you're not going to achieve the goal that you want. Because nothing worth it is ever easy. And if it's easy, it's not worth it. And I'm kind of touching on other things now, because, like, I haven't really communicated much online with you guys. I've recorded the next parts of the Jeffrey Dahmer Watch with Me, so they'll be going up soon if you want to check them out. Um, but other than that, like, I'm thinking maybe I'll come on once a week and I'll just talk to you. I have quite a lot of topics to talk about. Like, my brain functions quite quickly, and like before someone's even like finished talking about something, I'm already thinking about four other things, and that's where the creativity comes in with writing and things like that. But I've stunted my creativity in order to focus on building something sustainable that will help benefit people and be good for the planet, and not harm animals in the process. And like, if someone came to me when I was younger and said, like, what do you want to do with your life? I wouldn't have said sing or rap. You know, I wouldn't want rapper or singer on my headstone. I'd want humanitarian. Someone like you tried to make a change in the world, um, due to the experiences that they have and the factors that surrounded them. And they decided, you know what, it'd be very nice to try bring something to people that is beneficial for all. And if I could be remembered for anything, it would be for trying to give back to my planet and my people. Like, I don't want, and I don't think anybody ever wants to die. And people say she was an awful arsehole. Like, they done nothing for nobody, nothing for the world. And from a young age, I saw how the world worked, and people didn't really do much for people. And I got to a pinnacle point when I was younger, and I says, right, people don't do it for people, but I want to do it for people. And it was very hard to find other people like me who wanted to like support other people or build other people up. And I was like, right, I'll just do it. And no matter what I went through, no matter what tried to knock me or whatever obstacle it became, I just went around it, or I climbed over, or I chiseled through. I can't express how difficult it's been to get to this moment. And thank you for listening to me all these years. Because you've been there for so many parts of my life. Like, I've shared my life online since we had Bebo. And, you know, like, I've always been behind a computer or a screen, sharing. And anybody who knew me years ago, even if we've drifted apart and things like that, you'll always remember Becky was at a computer online. And a lot of people were, of course, it wasn't just me. But there was a reason I shared so much with the world, because I felt like other people out there could feel like me and how I feel. And my safe space was the internet. Like, I can't explain it. Might have been bullied in school, but I could go home and the internet was my safe place. And even if people did try bullying me on the internet, it was my own safe place, because I had people there as well. So it's like, my home has always been in the internet, like you know. And then when I got pregnant, I shied away from it, you know, but I was still kind of there. Like, if you go back, you'll see when my daughter was just born, I was putting up YouTube videos. I think my first one was I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad. Sorry, at the minute my throat's a bit dry, and it's been at me since yesterday, so I've been so strepsils. I get checked out. But you'll see me, I've been there sharing for as long as I can remember. And I done it in a very intense, intimate way. Like, people are online and they share things, you know, like milestones or things that have happened that they're proud of or they've accomplished, you know. But I've literally told parts of me to the internet, and there's people at the other side watching me right now. Like, you're at the other side of this and you're watching me right now in my world, explaining to you what I want to do for my world in the world that I'm living in, because we all have worlds within worlds, and that can be the way farmers all farm together, they have their market, or mechanics, they're mechanics, they have their market. And we all have worlds within worlds, and we all have to learn how to click and function and find our place in the world in order to seek success. And the only thing I knew how to click and weave and in and out of was the internet and sharing who I was. That was all I knew, and it's all I could do and express myself. And that'll never stop. But the main focus is on building a business now and sharing more about the vulnerable side of me that I never really wanted to show, because I have to stay strong. And I know some people look up to me, and I have a child looking up to me, but I'm only human. I'm not Rebecca Robot. I'm a human being, and I have emotion. And sometimes we have moments of a lack of self-confidence, a lack of self-esteem, or we just are feeling bad in ourselves, or things aren't going so well. And I mean, it's lovely to see people sharing all their highlights in life, but when you're happy, it's easy for a lot of people to be happy for you. But when you're sad, it's not easy for a lot of people to care. And that's why I stick by the saying, like, win €1 million, your friends everywhere, live in poverty, no one will even want to know you. And it's sad, but it's true. So keep searching for success. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Um, I don't have a Valentine's this year, so hopefully this video will get to many people before Valentine's Day. So if it does, be my Valentine, and happy Valentine's Day.